what is American conservatism? When I was a student, there were young people who were resistant to conservatism. They disagreed with it. They didn't share its values. But to me, today on the campus, I find that most young people, it's not that they reject conservatism. They don't know what it is. And they don't know what it is because we don't say what it is. And our political leaders don't say what it is. You could have followed this whole election debate and have no idea of what it is that conservatives are trying to conserve. Traditionally, conservatives conserve stuff. Now, according to the left, what we're trying to conserve is things like bigotry, insensitivity, privilege, hierarchy. But if those things are wrong, what is it that we stand for? What are we conserving? Well, I would argue that what we're conserving is the principles of the American Revolution. And so, ironically, American conservatism is protecting and conserving a revolutionary idea. The American Revolution was a liberal revolution. By liberal, I mean classically liberal. It stood for three types of liberty: economic liberty or economic freedom, political freedom, and freedom of thought and religion. Those are the three, that's the tripod of freedoms, if you will, on which the American Revolution was fought. And those are the three types of liberty that we today are trying to protect. That's
partly what the conservatives, not only conservatives, but also liberals, true liberals in the English sense, are up against. I mean, what's happened also as a consequence of this postmodern neo-Marxist intellectual invasion is that the center keeps moving. It's moved way to the right now. So if you're a classic liberal, you've become a conservative. And so for all of you who are interested in pursuing the conservative agenda, there's a lot of classic liberals that you could be talking to. And then finally, with regards to talking to young people, you finally have something to sell to them, you know. It's not easy to sell conservatism to young people because they want to change things, and that's not what conservatives want to do. They want to maintain things. Well, now you've got something to sell to young people. You can sell them freedom of speech, and you can sell them responsibility. The left is selling them rights. You can sell them responsibility. And I can tell you, because I've received many letters of the sort that Gad was talking about, young people are absolutely starving for someone to provide them with a sense of responsibility and say, look, here's something worth living for, man. You know, you can find meaning in life with freedom, but freedom is a chaotic sort of meaning, right? And freedom isn't the sort of thing that makes people happy. It's the sort of thing that makes people troubled, because freedom expands your series of choices, and that makes you nervous and uncertain. So, but responsibility is another, not to say that that's a bad thing, it's a good thing, but it requires that you shoulder the responsibility of the freedom. But responsibility per se is what gives your life meaning, genuine meaning in the face of suffering. And young people are really, they're starving for that. I've been teaching young people for 30 years, and mostly what I've been teaching them about is responsibility. It's like you're heirs to a great tradition. It's not perfect, obviously, but comparatively, there's nothing else like it that's ever been produced, and it represents a tiny minority of the human polities, most of which are run by murderous, antisocial, psychopathic thugs. And that's seriously. And so what kind of alternative is that? We've got this beacon of freedom and wealth in the West that works, although it doesn't work perfectly. And one of the responsibilities of young people is to find out what's at the core of that, the great core of that, the paramount importance of the individual and the divinity of speech. Man, that's something to sell. It's what our whole culture is predicated on.
Conservatism, when guided by philosophy, can achieve its goal, which is the goal implied in its name, the conservation of an existing social order. This goal is differently conceived in different European countries, for there is no single religious, institutional, or legal inheritance. Nevertheless, the basis of conservative philosophy is shared across our continent. This basis is the concept of responsibility. Of course, real freedom is also a condition of self-discipline, and responsibility is a part of it. Freedom and accountability go hand in hand and cannot in the end be distinguished from one another. It was in the name of their social and political inheritance that conservatives fixed their banner to the mast of freedom. What they meant was this kind of freedom, the freedom enshrined in our legal and political inheritance and in the free associations through which our societies renew their legacy of trust. So understood, freedom is the outcome of multiple agreements over time under an overarching rule of law. And the task of politics is to establish a constitution of liberty, as Hayek described it.